Hey guys, welcome back for another video. It's me, What You Will. Today we are starting on case 41, the Rorschach Reaper. And yeah, I hope this is not who I think it is. But it probably is. And I'm gonna be upset. I'm pretty sure. But I don't know. Let's just get into it. This serial killer affair has really put the whole department down, hasn't it, Will? I still can't believe the press got wind of it. They made it sound even worse than it already was, too. But let's not brood tonight, alright? After all, tonight's the big night, the prom ball, the highlight of the university year. I'm so glad the entire team has been invited to it. I remember when I went to my own prom ball with Charlotte. We had the time of our life. Come on, I'll get changed and then we can go meet the guys at the ball. I don't know for you, Will, but I'm dying to see what they're all wearing. At the university prom ball. All the students have stepped up their game, haven't they? Come on, Will, let's find the others. Also, guys, I'm also wearing a tuxedo as well, just for this case. Hello, Will, you just arrived in time. They're going to announce the queen at the ball. My money's on Madison. Her campaign has convinced a lot of students over the past few weeks. I mean, she had my vote. Madison has nothing on Kathy, but I admit her campaign was a genius strike. I didn't know Kathy was also running. Shut up, everyone. They're going to announce the winner. And the winner is Madison Springer. Congratulations to prom queen Madison and her prom king Chad Baker. Unfortunately. Me? So you love me. You really love me. Oh, I'm so happy. Thank you so much, everyone. Ace, we won. Yeah, I know. Come on, Madison. Let's start with the prom Royals dance. I can't believe it. Holy jeez. It was her. It's the happiest day of my life. Madison. Madison. Will, did you see what happened? Of course I did. What was that explosion? We had to get Madison. Ramirez, help us. Everybody stay calm. Let Major Will through. She's dead. Madison's dead. But why would anyone do this? Well, they blew the top of her head in front of all these kids. Her tiara's been blown to smithereens too. Is there any way you can put it back together, Will? It might help us understand what happened. Wait, what is that paper you picked up, Will? Holy Cyclops, it's the signature of the Rorschach Reaper. They killed Madison. Do you think they might have left another message on a Rorschach test like they did last time, Will? Yes, let's have a closer look at it. Major Will, Chad's run away. Oh, that punk. What? For Pete's sake, Ramirez, no one's leaving the premises. Do you hear? We can't have crucial witnesses running loose. What happened? What happened? Is this girl dead? Is Madison dead? Caroline, Will, she's having a nervous breakdown. Let's talk to her first. We'll have to try to find Chad later. I can't believe it. A poor girl killed in the middle of the university prom ball. Aren't you supposed to protect us? To protect our children? This ball was a mistake. Just a free-for-all buffet for a murder, and he took advantage of it. Look, Caroline, we understand you're upset. We're all upset, but there's nothing anybody could have done to prevent this tragedy. There would have been if people ever listened to me. All those horrible murders happened because people would not listen to my warnings. But no, one of the only persons who had the student's safety at heart ended up being locked away by you, Major Will. And that's my fault? If you're talking about Brian Bigman, he killed a student. You call that safety? At least he took measures to keep the students indoors, to keep them under control. That's what this university really needs. Alright, I know Caroline's shaking up, but she's pushing it too far. You think she expected the ball to end in tragedy, just to prove people she was right? But we got more important things to think about. You're right. I don't know about how Chad managed to get away, but we need to find him, and soon. I swear, Chad, if it's you... Good idea. We should start by looking at the football field. It's always been a safe haven for him, after all. I don't know how you managed to restore Madison's tiara, Will. Let's get this straight to the lab. Hopefully Alex will be able to make this tiara talk. The Rorschach Reaper left us another message. Take Madison's passing as a message from me to you. The game is afoot. What did he mean, the game is afoot? How could Madison's death be a message? Unless the Reaper killed Madison with her own hands. Of course, Will. That must be it. This time, our serial killer didn't use anybody else to do the dirty work. Wait, who could be calling us at such a time? Do you think it might be the Reaper? Hello, Officer Jones speaking. What kind of sick game are you playing, Mr. Reaper? What? No, it's me, Kathy. I got information about the Rorschach Reaper. Could you meet me at the station, Major Will? So, Kathy, what did you want to tell us about the Rorschach Reaper? I've had an idea, Major Will. Think about it. The Rorschach Reaper has been struck 3 times. And every time, you have found and trialed a killer. Yet we both know this was the work of a single person. Don't you think that you might learn more by going... Kathy, what are you doing here? I'm forbidding you to take part in criminal investigations. But Grandpa, I can help. You know I can help. I've done it before. Major Will, no. My decision is final, Kathy. Major Will, my granddaughter should not be a part of this investigation. Are we clear? You're always like that. Why don't you trust me? I'm not a little girl anymore. Why can't you see that? You know what? I'm worth. God darn it. Kathy, you will not talk to me like that in front of police officers. Now go back to university, young lady, before I really lose my temper. I hate when families fight, don't you, Will? Oh boy. Yep. King sounded absolutely enraged, and Kathy wasn't much better. She sounded so upset that he would not trust her. Do you think that's why she helped so much, Will? To rebel against her grandfather? Who knows what else she might do to catch his attention. Well, anyway, we'll have to continue without her help this time. Good thing you're with me. Oh, what's that you found? Hey, that's Madison's purse. If the pink wasn't clue enough. There's her name engraved on the front. I don't know how it ended up here, but we better have a look inside. I agree. Ah, and Chad's over here on the bleachers. Poor kid. He looks so crestfallen. Let's go talk to him, Will. Dang, this thing is hidden. Great, Madison's phone was still inside her purse. It might give us a clue about her recent activities. Darn, it's locked, but it won't be enough to stop you, Will. I know it. Jones, I don't have enough stars, man. Leave me alone. Just leave me alone. Oh, goodness. Chad, is that Madison's blood on your clothes? Look, come with us. We'll take care of you. She just dropped. Just one big boom, and she was dead. Why? Why did this happen to her? To us? I love her. I know she didn't love me back. But I hoped one day she might change her mind. And now she's dead. My queen is dead. Why, goodness, why? Poor kid. The girl he loved died in his arms. I can't imagine how this must feel. Well, now I can. You're right, Will. We should send him to the psychiatric team back at the police station. He should not stay near the scene of the crime. Why did I think that? That was clearly not an M. Great job unlocking Madison's phone, Will. Let's see, who has she been in contact with recently? Wait a minute, her call history is filled with calls from Tess Goodwin, and all during the past 2 weeks. I didn't expect those two to be friendly. They're as different as night and day. You're right, Will. We need to have a little chat with Tess. After you. Hello, Major. Quite a show tonight, wasn't it? That's what I call going out with a bang. You should show a little respect for the dead, Tess. Major Will has found out you've been in contact with Madison recently. Care to tell us why? Oh, that? Well, I wanted to write a paper on her, on the damages that her double identity inflicted on her psyche. I learned about her little secret, you see. She wanted me to keep quiet, but it was just so fascinating. An Amish cheerleader? I mean, come on. That's called blackmail, Tess, and that's nothing to gloat about. Some secrets are better left alone. Do you have secrets, Major Will? I'd love to write a paper on you, you know? I bet you're a fascinating subject to study. Something tells me it might be her, especially considering that she studies criminal psychology. I don't know, man. You're really the best. Aw, thank you. Here, take those outfits. They'll totally suit you. Trust me, I'm a fashion expert. You know, I'll buy this for Madison. And throughout this entire district, I'm still wearing it. Goodness, that was so horrible. To think it could have been Cappy up there. It gives me the shivers. The tiara is your murderer weapon. Homemade, looks complicated at first glance, but it's actually a pretty simple device. Still, whoever booby trapped Madison's tiara has a good knowledge of electronics. Oh, and of course, they must have had access to the tiara to implement all those explosive charges. I thought the tiara had been kept in Donna Walker's office before the ceremony. How could the killer get to it? Good idea, Will. The best person to fill us in about the tiara's handlers is Donna Walker. Let's go have a little chat with her. I invited you to this ball to thank you for everything you did for this university, and now you got another tragedy on your hands, Major Will. Yes, it certainly seems like dark times have befallen the university, Donna, but we must fight against it. Right now, we need to know who had access to Madison's tiara. It was kept under lock and key in my study. Nobody could have accessed it until today. I took it out, and the ball preparations kept me out of my office a lot. Which means that pretty much anybody could have slipped into your office today and set the explosives on the tiara. Darn it. And he knew who they were targeting too. Everybody knew that Madison was going to win. It wasn't so much an election as a confirmation of her Queen Bee status. The cause of Madison's death is pretty straightforward. The detonation blew off the top of her head, killing her instantly. What's impressive is that the explosion was perfectly contained. Madison was the only one to get injured, and the bottom of her head doesn't even have a scratch. And yet the explosion was powerful enough for part of the device to lodge into Madison's brain. You mean you found part of the bomb in her brain? Yes, I retrieved it, and I noticed the piece of metal was embossed with a hallmark, a serial number if you want. And a hallmark is used by the Greensboro University to keep track of the components used in their electronic studies courses. But you're telling us that the bomb was created with the university's materials? Yes, which also means that that Madison's killer has to be a member of the university, else they wouldn't have had access to those components. Later at the Greensboro Police Department. Will, it's horrible. You had to help me. It's Kathy. She's disappeared. Her phone's off. I can't find her online. I saw her storm off after yelling at the chief, and right afterwards, she just got disconnected from everything. Alex, maybe you're being a little pushy. Girls don't really like clingy guys. This has nothing to do with me. I tried to hack her computer, but there's no trace of her. Do you really think that's normal? It's like she just vanished. What if the Rorschach Reaper got to her? Well, you got to believe me. This is serious. Kathy's always online, and now even her phone is off. It's like she vanished. I'm sure it's because of the chief. I saw her storm off. She looks so angry. What if she's gone and got into trouble? Look, Alex, Kathy can't be far. Ah, I see. I bet it's her calling. Hello, Kathy. What are you playing at? We're all worried, sick about you. There is no Kathy here. Some people think she cannot handle the heat. You're talking to the artist. I got a clue for you, Major Will. Mrs. Walker's office hides more than meets the eye. I'd go have a look if I were you. Goodbye. Wait, don't hang up. King won't know about this. We need to talk to you. We'll call you back. So, Will, was Kathy telling the truth? Does the dean's office hides more than meets the eye? Oh, good call. That's tablet's definitely the kind of thing I'd look into if I were the artist. You need to figure out the password though. Okay. Well, by the way, guys, I came back from campus. It's like, oh. Sorry, yeah, I came back to campus like a little while ago. Like around like, I think, hold on, I need to concentrate here. Alright, I came back to campus a little while ago, so I'm a little tired. It was like almost 10 o'clock p.m. So yeah, I have a late night class. Alright, unlocking the tablet was a stroke of genius, Will. It holds the files of every student. And look, the last file access was Madison's. Gee, I didn't expect it to be so big. There's a ton of data in there. We should send this tablet to Alex, you're right. He'll get us all the important info. Alright, well, let's call Kathy back and see what else she wanted to tell us. Can you keep an eye out to make sure King doesn't see us do it though? Jeez, why am I so tired? I don't know, I had Starbucks too, which you shouldn't have at night, but like, I also had Starbucks there, and yeah, the caffeine is not kicking in. Kathy, are you there? Your war with your grandfather does not concern us. If talking to you can help our investigation progress, then that's what we'll do. What info do you have on the Rorschach Reaper? It's uncanny, isn't it? One serial killer, but different murderers. Each incriminated body evidence. I figured out you might learn something from them, so I had a look at the prison surveillance feed. What? Kathy, are you breaching into classified info? That's what a hacker does, remember? It never seemed to trouble you before. Yeah, it's called ethical hacking. Those jobs exist. I'd even say you were mighty glad to have me to break the law in your place. Anyway, I managed to access some of the surveillance cameras, but time is pressing, and I don't have sufficient resources to crack the video's encryption myself. But don't fret, I'm sure Alex will be more than capable of deciphering it. The video's on your desk, Major Will. Is it me, or is Kathy getting a little scary? She sounded so cold. You got a point, Will. I thought she'd become the artist to avoid worrying her grandfather, but after their fight, it's starting to sound like she did all that to impress him, and it failed horribly. She's always been so on top of things during our previous investigations, like she was always one step ahead of us. And how did she even manage to leave the CD on your desk without us seeing her? Ah well, I'm afraid we don't have any time to brood about this. You're right, better to send that video to Alex and see what this is all about. Madison's file was an interesting read, Will. She's got more notices for sneaking out after nightfall than there are days in a year. Honestly, it almost seems unfair. There's barely a day without her getting into trouble for the most trivial things. Really? Maybe we better have a chat with Dr. Walker about that. I agree, Will. She's always seemed to harbor resentment towards the popular kids. Oh, you might also be interested in knowing that she kept being caught on a football stadium with Chad, though after hours. Ah, well, anyone can guess what they were doing, right, Will? Oh, of course, you're right. It's our job to make sure there was nothing more. Let's go talk to Chad then. Kathy really outdid herself this time. Those video feeds are highly secure. I don't even know how she managed to retrieve them. is a surveillance camera footage of Greensboro Detention Center, and it shows the cell of a prisoner you arrested, Major Will, Penelope Rivera. Penelope, the girl who disguised her friend's murder and suicide? Good call, Will. There was a Rorschach test on that crime scene too, which means the murder was somehow orchestrated by our serial killer. Unfortunately, there's no audio on those video feeds, but you can see her, and she seems to have become obsessed with those Rorschach tests. You're thinking what I'm thinking, Will? It's time we had a little chat with Penelope. At the Greensboro Detention Facility. Major Will, I didn't think I'd ever see you again. I kept trying to contact you about the Rorschach Reaper, but they wouldn't let me. So you heard about the serial killer then? Look, Penelope, this doesn't change. I'm not trying to escape my sentence, Major Will. I know I killed Lisa, but I'm not going to let other people die because of that freak. Look, none of this makes sense. One second I was just angry at Lisa, and the next I was dead set on committing murder. Even I can feel there's something wrong here. The last thing I remember before my change of heart is being accosted at the football field, and that darn pendulum, going back and forth. And then that was it. My mind was set. Even after she was dead, I still knew I've done the right thing, even though I couldn't explain it to myself. But in prison, you have time to think. A lot of time, I know that I was hypnotized to kill my friend. You had to believe me. That pendulum is the key. This hypnotism story sounds so far-fetched. Do you believe it, Will? I mean, we have evidence against 3 people, and yet further evidence proving the work of a single serial killer. Unless we're dealing with a cult, everything seems to point to those girls being manipulated. I guess Penelope's tale might be true after all. You're right, Will. Penelope said the pendulum is the key. What if it was still on the football field? Let's go search for it. Now, it was really not a good time for me, Major Will. I still have to notice Madison's family of her passing, but the info she left is all false. That Madison just a web of lies and smugness, like every member of the Psi Sigma Gamma. I should have had that sorority disbanded at the first occasion. They've done so much hurt to this university, to the students. Poor Ronnie was just one of those collateral victims, and I myself almost died because of them. Those sororities are just a playground for narcissistic personalities like Madison that crush everyone on their path and get congratulated for it. I hate those kind of people. Me too, Donna. Okay. And nowadays, the corridor seems to be filled with them. Darn opportunists without a care in the world. Get a grip of yourself, Donna. Is that why you were so hard on Madison? Her file seemed abnormally full. Madison only ever got what was coming to her. Now, if you excuse me, I got grieving people to deal with. Alright, well, I know Donna was a victim of hazing at the hand of Madison's sorority, but I can't believe she still hasn't let this go. Good point. The first of the Rorschach Reaper's murder also involved that sorority. But could Donna really be our serial killer? How are you holding up, Chad? Are you feeling a little better? No, but it doesn't matter. Nothing matters now that she's gone. Chad, we learned that you trespassed after curfew in company of Madison a few times this past few days. Now, were you two fooling around? No, we were just talking about our relationship, that's all. I wanted us to move in together after college. Of course, it would have helped if Madison had admitted that we were together. It was like she was ashamed of me of something. I tried everything to be up to her level. I worked twice as hard. I even took evening classes. Of course, the only class I could get was the one in electronics. I guess that didn't impress her much. Dang, you did all that for a girl? Have some dignity for yourself, man. Electronic classes? That sounds expensive. So, Will, did you find anything that would corroborate Penelope's hypnotism story? Oh no, not the trash bag. We'll ruin our fancy suits. Alright. You know better, Will. Let's dig in then. Holy monkeys, how did that pendulum end up in the trash? Do you think this is the pendulum Penelope told us about, Will? Could she really have been hypnotized just by staring at this? Oh, you're right. There's some kind of number on it. It's all faded though. Do you think you can make it dark enough to read? So did you manage to read the number on the pendulum? 555-6759? Hey, that's a phone number. But how did this end up on the pendulum? I guess you're right. The best way to figure it out is to call the number ourselves. It's ringing. Darn it, it's a recorded message. Can you hear it, Will? Hello, Major Will. This is the Rorschach Reaper. I see you finally found my pendulum. You certainly took your time. I hope you're enjoying our little game. We'll have a proper talk very soon. I'm looking forward to it. Beep! I can't believe this. So Penelope was telling the truth. The Rorschach Reaper did use his pendulum, which means they did hypnotize her. So all these girls, they're both guilty and innocent. The Reaper found a way to kill without actually touching a weapon. At least now we got something against him, you're right. We know we're looking for someone who knows how to hypnotize people. Let's hope they don't use that talent on us. And maybe we could go see what Tess has to say about this. What do you think? I mean, she studies criminal psychology. And even though she weirds me out, maybe she could be of help. You again, Major Will. I've already told you everything I know. You're really taking all those murderers lightly, Tess. How could it not move you? You know, after all the psychological profiles of murderers I had to study this year, nothing really faces me anymore. Once you've seen an exploded head, you've seen it all. We actually like to talk about those psychological profiles with you. Have there ever been cases of murder by proxy? Aha! A new lead, perhaps. What have you discovered, Major Will? This is so exciting. This is classified information, Tess. But what do you know about, say, hypnotism? Oh, a fascinating science, hypnotism. We studied it last year. We even learned how to use it to make criminals talk. Most people think it's hocus pocus, but it's actually been scientifically verified. You need to be skilled, of course, but you can get interesting results. Interesting results indeed. Well, thank you for your help, Tess. Don't mention it. Watching you work is always a pleasure, Major Will. Later at the police station. This case is the most complicated we've ever had to face, Will. If you weren't with me, I give up on trying to catch this serial killer. They're just too good. How could the Rorschach Reaper hypnotize people to commit murder? And even more importantly, why? Darn it, will that phone ever stop ringing? Hello? How nice it is to hear you, my dearest friends. It was about time we spoke directly to one another, don't you think? The Rorschach Reaper? 1 point for deductive skills. Now, you're going to listen to me very carefully, Major Will. I'm going to give you a little incentive to help you solve Madison Springer's murder. If you haven't found out my identity by dawn, I'll kill one of your suspects. And don't even think of interrogating them. They're dead if you do. Oh. Okay, well... Why am I still tired? Okay. Sorry, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time for Chapter 3 in the initial investigation. I love you all. Get out.